Okay, so our lesson for today is we will identify, based on our objective, we will identify and describe what is more destructive, if it is earthquake or a typhoon. So I will show you two video clips that shows typhoon and the earthquake. Okay, that's for the typhoon. So, we have also the earthquake.
Flash floods are a powerful force of nature. Today, we're doing the top 5 largest flash floods on video.
Okay, flash floods is connected to an earthquake. After an earthquake, there was flash floods.
In the early morning of January 17th, 1995, instruments in a lab in western Japan picked up a burst of intense. It was the signature of a massive earthquake which had just struck the city of Kobe from its epicenter 20 kilometers to the southwest. There was no warning. 180,000 buildings were destroyed. An urban area 20 kilometers long and 4 kilometers wide was totally wrecked. Nothing moved in or out of Kobe by road or by rail for 3 days.
Okay, so that's the earthquake. How about the typhoon? How destructive is the typhoon? Okay, from the video that you've watched, what is more destructive? Is it an earthquake or a typhoon? So before we will have our debate, because today we will have our debate, who will win based on their arguments of our two groups with the affirmative and the other group. So we will discuss, or we will go into debate what is more destructive, if it is an earthquake or a typhoon. So, in your own opinion, before our debate, what is more destructive? Is it the earthquake or a typhoon? Mr. Labustro?
Earthquake, ma'am.
Why?
Because earthquake comes, we didn't know what is the time it comes. Like, that doesn't like typhoon, ma'am.
Okay, so another? Do you have another answer?
Earthquake, ma'am. Earthquake is the most destructive because it can damage more places in our country or in our world. And after the earthquake, it can may cause flash floods and sometimes tsunami.
Okay, any other answer? No more? Okay, so let's proceed to our debate for us to know whether is it the earthquake or the typhoon is the most destructive one. We will describe and identify what is more destructive among the different calamities, if it is earthquake or typhoon. Okay? So who can describe or who can give the meaning of destruction or destructive? Anyone? Mr. Paran?
As to my research, destruction refers to damage to an object, system, being, or idea, as an illegal damages.
Okay, very good. So, if we say destruction, it is a damage to properties or even facilities, di ba? Okay, so let's proceed to the debate. So we will have a debate today so that we will know what is really more destructive, if it is typhoon or an earthquake. So we have two groups here as our activity for our lesson for today. We have two groups, 4 members, each of them. Then we have our moderator, Mr. Anton Mankahinan. Okay, so we will hear their debate.
Okay, so good morning again. So now we will have a debate which has the motion of what is more destructive, earthquake or typhoon. So I will tell you the rules of this debate. We will follow the standard flow, which is the Asian parliamentary, which follows the affirmative negative basis. So in each group, we have the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, Deputy Whip, and reply speaker. So each speaker, I will give you 5 minutes only to deliver your arguments and your speech. And after that, so we have the Prime Minister of the earthquake group, typhoon brother, and the earthquake group. So I will give you 5 minutes each, and after that, 5 minutes. I will give you only 5 minutes. So after the 5 minutes, you will have the interpretation each of 3 minutes. So we will have the clash. I will allow you the POI in order for this debate to have a clash. So one of the policy of debate is you should not speak that aims for the personal life of your opponent or the opposing debater. So that is all. Okay, so let's proceed to our first debater, which is the Prime Minister of the Typhoon Group.
Hear. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mary Nicole Ramos, the Prime Minister of the affirmative side, and I strongly believes that typhoon is more destructive than earthquake. So I am here in front of you to present the 6 arguments that we have prepared. And we we already set the parameter to the Philippine setting only. First and foremost, typhoon delays classes, flights, occupation, and transportation of goods. Second, typhoon brings health issues. Third, typhoon brings more fatality than earthquake. Fourth, typhoon distracts majority of an area rather than an earthquake. Fifth, typhoon damages our agricultural products. And last but not the least, Philippines is a typhoon-prone country. And I was assigned to explain the first three arguments. First, typhoon delays classes, flights, occupation, and transportation of goods. Okay, so for example, just like in Manila, they experienced recently a typhoon, which is the typhoon Ongpo. So even though the Pag-asa raises only signal number 1, they already suspended their classes, particularly in elementary level. And in flights, they really canceled the flights. Just like Ilaia, they canceled the flights in Cebu Pacific. And in the occupation, example, you are a fisherman. You can't really go to sea. You can't really go fishing because of the bad weather, because of the high waves that you will going to encounter. And the transportation of goods. Okay, from urban to rural area. If you're going to travel, we all know that in urban area, their roads are not that well developed. And if you're going to travel by the river, you can't really go because of the flow of the water, which is very strong. Second, typhoon brings health issues. We all know that typhoon brings flood, and the water that is already contaminated are infected with viruses such as leptospirosis. And the dilemma doesn't end with that because, example, the leftover waters from the container or in the tires, it can cause dengue, can cause malaria, can cause skin diseases and other diseases that can affect on your health. Third is typhoon brings more fatality than earthquake. Okay, statistically speaking, typhoon is more destructive in terms of because it can kill many people. Not just only people, but also in economic and in infrastructures. Just like the super typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda, should I say, that last November 6, 2013 rather, that created new history of the Philippines. It affected a total of 3,424,593 families or 16,098,181 persons, killing 6,318 persons, 28,680 were injuries, and 1,061 were still missing until now. It destroyed 1,132,332,000 houses and damaged a total of 19.6 billion pesos worth of infrastructures and 20.3 billion pesos worth of agriculture. Unlike in the earthquake, who was called Luzon earthquake, who hit the Philippines, who killed only 2,412 and affected 1,597, 553 was destroyed, 100,000 houses with estimated total of 100,000 and $250 million only. That's all. I rest my case.
Okay, so the speakers vote for 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Now the Prime Minister of the Earthquake Group will speak his arguments and his speech. Yes, rather there will be interpolation between the Prime Minister of each group. So I will give you 3 minutes to interpolate the other debater.
Okay, good morning. So, Here is my speculation. Do you believe that typhoon is more destructive?
Yes.
Do you believe that typhoon can delay many transportation in our country?
Yes.
So do you believe that earthquake cannot be delayed or even disrupt any process in our country?
Have you experienced typhoon? Was there a time that your flight was delayed because of the typhoon? Was there a time that your class was delayed because of a typhoon? Then,
Is there any questions? Okay, so the interpretation has a time of 39 seconds. So the Earthquake group will share his arguments and her speech.
You're here? Okay, good morning everyone. I'm Shalamar Dipagay, the Prime Minister in the opposition side, which is the earthquake. So let me define what is earthquake. Earthquake is a tremendous activity or natural hazard that causes a lot of damage because of the movements inside of the earth. So, for me, here is my arguments. First, earthquake is unpredictable. Second, there is no equipment or there's no equipment can detect earthquake is coming. Third, when there's an earthquake, there can be a tsunami or a landslide and volcanic eruption. So first, let me talk to you about the earthquake is unpredictable. Yes, earthquake is unpredictable because not all the epicenters of focuses are really located, or we cannot say that we already located all the active and inactive fault lines in our society, because our government or our country is left behind in terms in technology. We are left behind. So I can say that earthquake is more destructive than typhoon. Second, there is no equipment that can detect that there is an earthquake will occur. So yes, there's a seismograph, but only seismograph can detect when there is during and after earthquake. No one has developed no one scientist has developed or made an equipment to detect an earthquake when there is an earthquake or there's a common earthquake in our country. Third, earthquake can cause tsunami and landslide and volcanic eruption. Yes, because when there's a movement in our earth, there will be a possibility that waves in our oceans, like the Pacific Ocean or Arctic Ocean, or even the Philippine Sea, can make a tsunami. Also, there are a lot of mining sites in our country. When there's an earthquake, our regions that in high grounds will be experience landslide. And third, volcanic eruption. Yes, when there's a movement inside of the earth, magma or the hotspot inside of our earth can be possibly affected, so that there will be a volcanic eruption in our country. And there are a lot of active volcanoes in our country, especially the Mayon volcano. That's all our announcements.
The speaker spoke for 3 minutes and 6 seconds. So the opposing speaker will interpret the speaker of the earthquake group.
Do you experience going home in the middle of the rain? Do you feel annoyed if you're soaking in wet? So it is okay to you to be wet all day? Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay, so you said earlier that
if there is an earthquake, there is a possibility that there's a tsunami. So, example, here in Mindanao, do you think a tsunami can damage the whole Mindanao itself?
Okay, the interpretation has a time of 23 seconds. So the Deputy Prime Minister of the Typhoon Group will speak her arguments and her speech.
Okay, so good morning everyone. I am Princess Hannah Peligro, the Deputy Prime Minister of the affirmative side. So, as the Prime Minister says our arguments, I will continue on our arguments. The first one is the fourth one, as I continue to the Prime Minister. Typhoon disrupts majority of an area rather than an earthquake. Next is that typhoon damages our agricultural products. And lastly, Philippines is a typhoon-prone country. Okay. So, typhoon disrupts majority of an area. As we already know that an earthquake can damage an area within the vicinity of the epicenter. So it's compared to typhoon. A typhoon can damage the whole can damage the whole Mindanao compared to the damage of the earthquake, because the earthquake can only damage in a point, and a typhoon can damage a whole region. Next is typhoon damages our agricultural products. Okay, so as what the Prime Minister said earlier, that typhoon delays the transportation of goods, and we already know that Philippines is an agricultural country, and it means that what we eat is coming from what we eat comes from our own land. So it means that if there is a typhoon, how can we produce a good quality rice if our rice field has been flooded? How can we produce good fruits if the transportation of our goods is not that good if they will transport it in urban. Next, Philippines is a typhoon-prone country. Of course, Philippines is a typhoon-prone country because we are surrounded by the bodies of water, and that means if we are surrounded by the bodies of water, those water will evaporate and can produce a typhoon or a tropical depression. So earthquake can be predicted, and the typhoon can be prepared. But as what the Prime Minister said, that economically speaking, typhoon damages more on our agricultural, on in our infrastructures rather than earthquakes, because the earthquakes is just destructive depending on its intensity. And yes, earthquake can produce tsunami, but Philippines is not really composed of peninsulas, because if we say tsunami, it is really more destructive if it is in the peninsula, right? Because it faces the bodies of water. How about those bays or those gulfs? Of course, they're the less affected area if there's a tsunami. As what the Prime Minister said, that a tsunami can damage a specific island. Maybe it is, but depends on how big is an island and how this kind of tsunami is. So that's all. I rest my case.
The speaker spoke for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So the opposing team will interpolate the speaker.
Have you experienced earthquake? Do you want to experience earthquake? shake it? Do you like to be shaken?
Any other questions?
You said earlier that Philippines is a typhoon prone in our country. So, do you believe that our Philippines is not an earthquake prone and beach is located in the Pacific with requires lots of active fault lines?
Okay, so the interpolation has a time of 23 seconds. So the Deputy Prime Minister of the Earthquake Group will deliver her speech and her arguments.
So, good morning everyone. I am the Deputy Prime Minister of this opposition side. So, this House believes that the earthquake is more destructive. As what our Prime Minister said, it is a natural hazard disaster. So, from the word natural, it can be you can avoid it. While in typhoon, you can avoid it, you can prevent it because you can be aware, you may later. You have the information like everyone is like watching TV or listening to radio stations. So you can be informed if there is a typhoon or not. While here in the earthquake, you have no information about it because it is not predictable. And so, for example, if there is an earthquake here at school, for sure all of us here will be affected because the epicenter is in here. So it takes time to have the reconstruction or rehabilitation. And it is not just you are affected simply you are not simply affected with this incident, but some students or younger ones or the people around that is living here in a school will have like they will encounter trauma because some are not taking it seriously during an earthquake drill, so they will have a panic or they will trauma. It takes time to recover your of what you encounter. So not so I was like
The speaker spoke for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so the opposing team will interpolate the speaker.
Okay, a while ago you said that earthquake is you can't. A while ago you said that you can't prepare or for the earthquake or you can't avoid it. So, have you prepared you or you passed a survival kit? Have you in both or survival kit in any kinds of survival kit? Have you ever joined some earthquake drills? Yes, so a while ago you said that you can't avoid it. So you're saying that your earthquake drills and your survival kit is useless.
Any other questions? Okay, so the interpolation has a time of 41 seconds. So the deputy whip of the typhoon group will deliver his arguments and his speech.
Okay, good morning everyone. I am the deputy whip of the affirmative side and we will say that typhoon is more destructive than earthquake. Let's say that maybe earthquake can destroy buildings, it can destroy infrastructures, But when we base in the Philippines, Philippines is an economy-based land or country, am I right? So it means that the source of living, almost source of living in the Philippines is in the economy. And when which typhoon strikes, economy will be destroyed. Unlike the earthquake, it cannot really disrupt economy in the Philippines. As you can see, as what Dave said earlier, the typhoon can damage agricultural lands. That's why Philippines is so typhoon is more destructive than earthquake. Let's not base on the buildings that it destroys. Let's focus on the economy, the livings of the people. If the livings of the people will be destroyed, how about their lives also? They're gonna lose their works. So it's not destructive structurally, but it's economically destructive to people. So even though earthquake strikes at a certain point, only at a certain point, and in the Philippines, there is no much news about earthquake that destroys really some certain place. While typhoon, as what you've known, there are 20 typhoons that strikes the Philippines every year. And when we statistically speaking, search is know the how many or how much loss in the Philippines due to the typhoon rather than earthquake, we could say that the Philippines lost much money when the typhoon strikes than the earthquake. So I should say that typhoon is more destructive. That's all. I rest my case.
The speakers spoke for 2 minutes and 22 seconds, so the opposing team will interpolate the speaker.
Are you afraid of earthquake? Are you Superman? Have you prepared your survival kit?
Deliberation at a time of 10 seconds. So, the deputy whip will deliver his speech and his arguments.
Good morning, everyone. So I am the deputy whip of this group, which believes that earthquake is more destructive than typhoon. So first, I will add up to the idea of Sheila that earthquake is not predicted. Okay, I will say this. The occurrence of earthquake cannot be predicted. It just happen anytime without us knowing it, without us being aware where or when it will occur. Unlike the typhoon, it can be predicted due to the fact that it can be tracked, in which it could give awareness or preparations to the citizens, to the Filipino citizens, in which they can be aware or they know what to do, they know how to react or to move, in which if the situation happens. Okay.
So you're saying that typhoon can be prepared rather, and earthquake cannot?
I'm not saying that we cannot prepare by don't react. I'm not saying that we cannot be prepared by earthquake, but in earthquake there's only small amount of preparation. Unlike the typhoon, we can make a lot more preparations into typhoon. So that's all. I will say all of that. Okay, I will continue. In the world that we are living, the only way to survive natural disasters or natural calamities is by awareness or preparation. Therefore, if there is a earthquake that can be predicted, then it's more destructive than typhoon. Okay. And then to what Mary said that typhoon could delay flights. Well, earthquake as well. It could delay flights. It could delay class, especially if the building is already destroyed, right? And it's more destructive because there is a possibility that earthquake can destroy the facilities, the building and the evacuation center. So it will add up more to the burden of the government, to the burden of the victim. Therefore, because they don't have nowhere to stay. Where are you going to stay? In the open field in which earthquake could happen again? Okay, the second one, the Manila or the Philippines, which is go.
So you said that when the buildings will destruct, so do you use tent? Tents. Do you have tents in your home?
Yes, we do have. But if there's earthquake, but if there's an earthquake, there is a possibility that those stands could be covered up by the falling stones from our home. Later, I will continue. The Philippines, which is the capital of the Philippines is Manila. And Manila is preparing for the big one, as they call. It is the earthquake that they call, that could end up the appearance of Manila. So that big one is, they believe that that's the time where Manila will be, Manila will be no trace to the map at all. So from just data, we can clearly see that earthquake is more destructive. Why? Because they are more scared to earthquake rather than the typhoon. Why? Because the Philippines is prone to typhoon. That's why they can battle at any time because Filipinos always mind, right? So when typhoon occur, we can say, oh my gosh, it's typhoon, right? Because they're prone, they're aware. Unlike to earthquakes, earthquakes happens to our later. Earthquakes happens to the Philippines, yes. But you're more prone to typhoon, in which Filipino people are like prone to it. That's why when it happens, then there's nothing. When it happens, then they know what to do because like it's always on the news. It's always on the news. It's always on the radio. It's always on the social media. That's why they are more scared to typhoon. They are more scared to earthquake because of what they call the big one that could end up Manila. There are many typhoons that hit the Manila, that hit the Philippines, but those typhoons end up the Manila or the Philippines not. But possibly that big one that is going to happen could destroy the Philippines or the Manila. That's all I will say.
The speaker has exactly 5 minutes. So the opposing team will interpolate the speakers.
You said that earthquake can destroy infrastructure, so we don't have anything to stay, right? Rather than in typhoon, we can stay at any evacuation center, right? So what if the evacuation centers, can you say that there is a worth of staying at the evacuation centers if all of the goods were being destroyed by the typhoon? The evacuation center has still its worth when the livestock, when your food has been destroyed by the typhoon. You think you can live?
Yes, of course, because I want to explain it. Okay, yes. There's no other question.
Time of 1 minute and 6 seconds. So the reply speaker of the typhoon group will summarize the whole debate.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Raymar Camparan, the reply speaker of this side. So, we believe that we should win because our arguments were stated clearly and the speaker spoke the facts and the statistics based on the truth. And the speech of the other side is not strong enough to argue with our arguments compared to us. The speaker of the other side is just circulating the idea. And And did you know that Naga landslide in Cebu? And did you know that it killed 56 people? Okay, that disaster didn't caused by an earthquake, but by a typhoon. Yes, it's a typhoon that caused the disaster. And we should win because, just like what I said, the idea is just circulating. And I rest my case. Thank you.
Speaker spoke for 1 minute and 9 seconds. So there's no interpolation in this because the reply speaker will only summarize and explain why their team should win. So the earthquake group, the reply speaker of the earthquake group will share or will summarize the whole debate.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the reply speaker of this side, the earthquake side. Our team deserves to win because earthquake really is destructive than typhoon. As my teammate said, it is unpredictable. No or not a single device has been created yet to detect an earthquake if it's incoming. And then it can damage more infrastructure and many more than typhoon because there's a big possible chance that the Earth's surface will move away from each other. So the other team said that let's not focus on the infrastructures, right? Because of their their living, I don't know, their works, they have many jobs. So here, so many people are also working in bigger company or bigger buildings. And what if in that area the earthquake will occur? A big earthquake will occur. So where that people so in the next maybe weeks, those people who are affected in that area and their buildings are already destroyed, so they have no jobs to apply. Well, maybe they can apply again in different areas in the world, but it's gonna take time. So and also my team said that a typhoon cannot end up the whole Manila, but the earthquake can possibly end up the whole Manila because, as I said, that Manila are the other areas in the Philippines because many because as I said that their surveys can possibly move away from each other and also I find they said that landslide is from typhoon was caused by typhoon. Yes, it can, but it can cause by typhoon, and also in an earthquake, it can also be caused and also be the effect of an earthquake. Maybe the earthquake is strong enough, it can destroy all the mining areas in the Philippines and all the highlands in the Philippines. And we believe that we're strong enough, and I thank you. I respect it.
Calling Mrs. Sabinas, the adjudicator, which is the Assistant Department Head of Related Subject Department. A round of applause, please.
Okay, good morning to each and everyone. To the positive, affirmative side and opposition. The affirmative side strongly believe that the most destructive is the typhoon, and the opposition also strongly believe that earthquake really is the most destructive. So as I observe, no, you both presented your side, no, but we know that the earthquake and typhoon are both destructive. But the arguments presented based from data, what you have, there are some statistical data which was presented by the affirmative group, which the opposition failed to present, no? Just like how many, in what part of the country there is, it is always visited by the earthquake, and the damage, the cost of damages that occur, you fail to present that. So that's why in my observation as to who wins the debate, it is the affirmative side. Okay, congratulations. But lahat kayo magagaling. You know how to defend. Maybe meron lang konting kulang. No? So, lahat yan, what is most destructive is the earthquake. No? Pero sabi ninyo, ang typhoon kasi is parang malawak talaga, saka matagal ang kanyang restoration. Malawak. Before, kailangan paghandaan. Alam natin, no, na matagal, in advance, we have advance information about when and where typhoon will really affect most in our country. While earthquake, hindi natin alam, unpredictable. So, yan ang mas, okay? So, congratulations. You are all very good in your, topic, no? Okay, the best. Thank you.
So, thank you debaters for coming, thank you audience, thank you for the adjudicator for judging the debate.
Okay, so for the winner, as to our judge, Mrs. Sabines, so the winner is the affirmative, the typhoon. Okay, congratulations debaters. Wow, ang galing. Okay, so please go back to your seats now. Thank you so much, as well as to our moderator. Okay, so we know already who won the debate. So it is the affirmative side, the typhoon. But actually, the two of you are correct when you said that the earthquake is more destructive. Why? Yes, it is true that we cannot know, or we do not know. It is not predictable. The earthquake is not predictable when and where it will come. Okay? So, not like the typhoon that the Pag-asa will broadcast even using the social media or even the radio or the television for us to know that the typhoon is coming. Okay. So, thank you so much for your participation. So, we know today, as of today, that we conclude that the earthquake is really the most destructive one. Okay? The facilities, the buildings, everything. So after the earthquake, maybe we will have the tsunami, and after that, we will have the... Okay, so thank you. Tomorrow, we will have another we will have a new lesson. So that's all for today. I hope you have gained something in your mind. Okay, goodbye, class.